There seems to be a disconnect because consumers are confident about the economy, businesses relatively so, corporate profits are near all-time high, the markets are near an all-time high, yet somehow the voters still don't feel like things are right. What's happening here?
Well, I think your segment a few minutes ago from Arkansas explains it. A lot of people, especially in the Midwest, especially in the South, have not benefited from the so-called recovery of the last few quarters. So the recovery has been one of the slowest since the Great Depression, and also the benefits of the recovery have also gone to the top 1%. So there's that, income disparity is a structural issue within the U.S. economy. It's not a matter of restarting economic growth and going back to the same engine. It's a matter of changing the engine.
Okay, but hear me out. We have an election coming up. Statistics show that maybe 38% in a good year are going to turn out and vote. If indeed the pollsters are right, we're going to have a dramatic change in power structure here in Washington, D.C. The GOP is going to overtake the Senate. They're going to have more control in how money is spent and how, if we do have a recovery that continues to go, or federal money that continues to go out there, how is this going to be affected? We talk about this, the one percenters that we use that term, they are doing better and better and better. This 99%, I'm really curious what the professor has to say about that. With this election coming up, and looking to Washington for answers. Do you think these people out in the heartland, are they wasting their time?
Professor?
You're absolutely right. The change will have to come from the federal government, and whatever happens in November will greatly affect the structure of income distribution in the United States. Unfortunately, I'm not very optimistic about the changes coming in the right direction, because it's always a matter of spending, federal government spending. And if you look at the bailout package, the bailout supposedly for Main Street since the financial crisis, most of it went to tax cuts. Most of it went to kind of trickle-down economics type of policies. Less than 1% went to direct job creation and training combined. And for me, that's really the engine of the economy, investing in people, investing in jobs, not investing in tax cuts.
Fidel, Professor, I want to ask you, where do you want the solutions to come from? Is it from the federal level? Is it from the state level? Is it from nonprofit organizations? I mean, what would you like to see happen that could perhaps resolve this gap?
What I propose is essentially funding from the federal government, but selection of projects, implementation of projects, and hiring of workers at the local level. So think of three sectors in the economy: the private sector, the government sector, which is what most people focus on, but we tend to forget the nonprofit sector, the community organizations. These are organizations that are serving local populations, disadvantaged populations across the country. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. They know the local population. They know the needs of the community. So what we're proposing here is a kind of a federal grant program that provides funding for local community organizations to match the skills of the local unemployed population with the needs of the local community, so that you're hiring the locals and you're benefiting the local community. But the funding will have to come from the federal government. It can't be local tax money. It can't be state funded, because only the federal government is financially sovereign and can afford to fund and jumpstart the economy in this way.
All right, good points, Professor Fidel Kaboub from Denison University. Thank you very much.